Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to go over some current hits and misses for me, and I have a lot of products to go over, so we're probably going to split this into two videos. I think today we're going to stick with brushes and eyeshadow palettes. So these are going to be some hits and misses for me that I've tried over the course of the last month or so that I haven't talked to you guys about yet when it comes to eyeshadow palettes and when it comes to brushes. And if that's something you're interested in watching, then you're in the right place. We're about to get into it.
I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf.
Alright guys, so again, it's like I find a rhythm with doing videos and cranking out content for you guys, and then something happens and it just throws me off kilter. And this time it was like the vicious, violent stomach bug from hell. Like, when I say that this was like the most horrible, awful, gross, disgusting, just blah. You guys, it was so bad. So it's been a really long time since I've had like a 12-hour, 24-hour stomach bug or stomach virus. It's probably been years. And I literally came home from picking up my son from school. I was standing in the kitchen and I looked at my husband and I said, you know, I just don't feel good. I feel really nauseous. I think I'm gonna go upstairs. So I came upstairs and my intention was to get my makeup off and just splash some cold water on my face and see if I would feel a little better. And I came upstairs and then, you know, you get that feeling where your mouth starts watering, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I'm gonna throw up. From that moment, you guys, it was insanity. It was like every 15, 30 minutes, like bam, 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 all the way through the rest of the evening, all the way through the night, all the way until like the next morning. I don't even remember half of the night. At some point, I just checked out. My son and my husband were like in here, like, of course, like they're emptying buckets and they've got me in the bed, and oh, it was a nightmare. I have never been so disgustingly sick. It was so bad. So I started like at least coming around a little bit after feeling a little bit better, and my sister comes over. I'm telling my sister like everything that happened, and I was like, oh my God, and it hit me so fast, and I was like fine one minute and the next minute I was like gone, and it was just violent and awful. And she's talking to me and she's like, oh my gosh, did you eat something? What did you eat? Who were you around? How could you have gotten this? Nobody else in the house has gotten it. And she's over at my vanity and she's saying, like, racking her brain, like, I don't want to get it. How did you get it? Who did you come in contact with? And then she looks over on my vanity and goes, when did you start taking these? No, stop. No, it had nothing to do with this. I thought it was pretty funny though, that's like the first thing she grabs. I do want to mention to you guys that I have started this regimen, so stay tuned and I will let you know how the Halo Beauty Booster works. We're currently in testing phases, so stay tuned. I just thought that was a funny story time that maybe you guys would laugh with me and think that was a little funny. I thought it was funny. All right, so first let's go through some brushes. There are some brushes that I found over the course of the last month that I really, really enjoyed, and I really can't wait to show those to you guys so that you guys could possibly enjoy them. But before I do, let's talk about the ones that I didn't enjoy. So from BH Cosmetics, they have the It's My Raine brush collection, and it's in this very pretty rose gold and pink theme collection. I will say that the holder and the brushes are separate. I do like the holder for all intents and purposes. It's actually very pretty. It's like this faux leather, and it has this kind of rose gold placard here, and the brushes actually look very nice sitting in it, so if you want to get it for like a decoration for the vanity, it would absolutely serve that purpose. As for the brushes themselves, I am not a fan. So I've actually had a couple of issues with BH Cosmetic brushes in the past, and I've had to send some batches back just because of defects in the brushes. While these didn't come with any defects, the quality of these brushes is just lacking. While they are synthetic brushes, they are just not well done synthetic brushes. Especially the eye brushes, they really are just awful at picking up product. They don't do a good job at blending. I don't feel like, especially the one in this collection, is an effective blender brush at all by any means. I don't feel like even the big powder brush that comes in this collection is just, it's just not a well-made brush collection. And I feel like even though this is a very inexpensive brush collection, it is a very cheap feeling brush collection, and for the same amount of money, nowadays you can actually get quality brushes that I'm about to show you for the same amount of money. So for me, this whole collection was just a bust, and I really, really did not enjoy this brush collection at all. I did, however, find some really good brushes that I've really, really been enjoying from a couple of different places. The first two that I want to go over with you are actually from Morphe, and they're from the Elite line. The first one is the Morphe E1, and this is just a big, nice, fluffy, dense face brush, and I really enjoy this brush because of how wide the surface is, but also how soft the bristles are and how densely packed they are. This is become one of my favorite go-to face brushes just for all over powder application. It does a great job. It feels fantastic on the face, and it feels like a well-made brush. This one was a win for me. Another win for me was the Morphe E23. Now this is also from the Elite line, and I love these long-handled brushes. I really love a makeup brush that has a very long handle. And again, this is the E23. This is just a blender brush, but I really, really like the density in this. This is a great big fluffy brush for really blowing out a nice crease blend. It works fantastically. It's a good quality brush. The hairs have been washed several times and reshaped, and it's actually held up quite nicely. And so far, I like the brushes that I have seen in the Elite collection. So these two were good finds for me when it came to Morphe this past month. The next brushes I want to talk to you guys about are actually from a company called Clover, and if you guys don't know about Clover brushes, they are overseas, but they're so incredibly inexpensive, guys. I'm telling you, the quality of the brushes is actually worth the wait. If you don't care to wait like a couple of weeks for your brushes to actually get here, and you can pay for a really inexpensive brush to be made actually really quite well, then Clover is definitely a place for you guys to go and find some really nice brushes. My favorite one that I found from Clover is just this tapered face brush, and it's actually not numbered or anything, and it just has Clover here, but you guys will see it online if you go. This has very quickly become my favorite under eye brush for this area right here, and I'll show you a close-up of the bristles here. It's just got this beautiful tapered end on it, and this thing has been washed and used and abused over the course of the last 30 days, and it's held up wonderfully. The cut on it is fantastic. The feel of the bristles are fantastic, and this I have reached for a whole bunch over the course of the last month. Also from Clover, I tried out a couple of their eye blending brushes, and these are just two of them that I've really fallen in love with. Now these two are numbered. This is the 310N and the 311N, and they're both eyeshadow blender brushes, and the hairs on these brushes are absolutely phenomenal. For the price, it's just a beautiful brush. One is a flat tip and one is a tapered tip, and they're absolutely amazing for blending out shadow. They wash well, they reshape well, and they've generally held up amazing. For the price, you can't beat it. I really, really like these brushes. The next two brushes I wanted to talk to you guys about are actually from Japonesque, and in the past I haven't been a fan of Japonesque brushes, but they've recently redone them and the new ones are actually quite good. The first one is the Japonesque 713. Again, I love the long handle, but this is a perfect highlighting brush. It's just got that perfect rounded dome tip, and it just works perfect for any kind of powder product. It even works really good for under the eye as well, but I've been reaching for this one particularly for my highlight, and I really, really enjoy it. And then also from Japonesque, it's my new favorite concealer application brush, and this is the Japonesque 712. Now, this is a concealer brush that has a tilted head on it, and I'll show you guys in an up-close shot so you can see where it has this really wide, flat, tilted surface, which makes it perfect for concealer in this area right here and blending the concealer in, and it does an amazing job at doing that, and I love this brush for that purpose. So this was a great find this month. And then last but not least is actually by a company that I discovered this month called Cozzette, and I'll put down here a little runner of the website and how you can actually find these guys, because it took me a while to find them. I knew they were called Cozzette, but the website is actually under Rock Cozzette, and it's spelled a little differently, so I'll make sure that the runner down here sends you guys to the right place. But this is their S165 Deluxe Blending Brush, and you guys, this brush does an amazing job, and I can't wait to try other brushes in this collection. It has a long handle, it's beautiful. The blending ability of this particular brush is phenomenal. It is great for that crease blend right in here, and it just does an amazing job. Not only are the brushes phenomenal from Cozzette, but their eyeshadow formulas are amazing, but I'll get to that in just a second. Alright guys, so moving on from brushes and moving into palettes that I dipped my toes into over the course of the last 30 days, and some of them were hits and some of them were misses. So let's start with a miss. So PUR teamed up with Boxy Charm, and they put out a collab, and it's the PUR and Boxy Charm collab, and the palette looks like this. It's very colorful, it's very springtime. For the most part, PUR Cosmetics has been very hit or miss when it comes to their palettes, and I've yet to have a palette of theirs that really blew me away. And honestly, this one was really no exception. This one to me was exceptionally dry. There wasn't a lot of pigment from this. I was really expecting this to be a good collab, because for the most part, Boxy Charm does a good job when it comes to quality assurance and making sure that anything that they partner with is at least something that is going to push a brand forward and really kind of launch them into the spotlight. But unfortunately, this fell short for me. Not only did I feel like the packaging was incredibly cheap, I don't feel like it's worth the retail. I don't think the formulas performed all that well, especially when it came to the shimmers and the mattes in this palette. They were very dry, they didn't swatch well, they didn't perform well on the eye, and overall this was a very mediocre palette for me that was just not worth the retail. So this one is a pass for me. Now let's talk about one that was a hit. If you guys have never tried an eyeshadow from Colored Raine, I was stunned by this eyeshadow palette. This is the Queen of Hearts eyeshadow palette by Colored Raine, and I understand I am late to the party when it comes to this product. But you guys, honestly, a palette really has to be phenomenal nowadays for it to really just be stunning to me, because the market is just inundated now with amazing eyeshadow formulas. So it really has to be something amazing for me to like take a step back and be like, oh my gosh, wow, I really need to tell my subscribers about this. That's what this palette did to me. This palette, the formulas in this palette are amazing. Raine really knocked it out of the park with this palette, and I am so excited to try the rest of their formulas. I'm going to give you guys a close-up and let you see the swatches out of this, and I'm going to take my time with this one because I really want you guys to look at the performance, so I'm going to launch into that now. Alright guys, so I'm just going to talk a little bit while I go through the swatches because honestly, Raine is something that is phenomenal. There is a total of 12 pans in this eyeshadow palette consisting of 6 mattes and 6 foil eyeshadow shades, and honestly you can get anything from day to night looks with this. It is a cruelty-free brand. Ladyship does contain carmine, so unfortunately because of that they can't call themselves vegan. Mattes in this are stunning. The metallic eyeshadows can be used wet or dry with a brush or by using your finger to put the product on your lid, but overall guys, this is an absolutely stunning palette. Now it retails for $50 US, but I will say for an indie brand and for an organization that is made in the USA, it's really an okay price point. I don't care to pay that price point for such a superior product. Now, Raine is a Black-owned brand. Lorraine Dowdy founded Raine in 2013. She really worked in the financial industry, and she dropped it all to pursue her dream of owning a cosmetic line. So she really was about self-expression and diversity that included shades for all women of color, and her aim was to create a very standout cosmetics line that broke all beauty barriers, and that's why she created Raine. It does kind of stem from her name. Her name again is Lorraine, so Raine kind of stemmed from that, but she really had a belief in all things beauty with no stipulations, and that's what she feels like sets Raine apart from all the other different indie brands that are out there right now. She was very passionate about cosmetics. She pursued it relentlessly, and she created this entire collection. It includes liquid lipsticks, eyeshadows, etc. So for right now, this is the first thing that I've dipped into, but honestly, I cannot wait to test out her other products. I love that it's a Black-owned brand, and I absolutely love that it's made in the USA. Honestly, guys, for that kind of color payoff and that kind of pigment, I am just blown away. And honestly, when it comes to performance, these suckers blend themselves. This was probably my biggest like wow of the month was Raine. I don't know why I was so late to the party on this, but I am so glad that I am here to party now, and I can't wait to see what Raine has next. It's stunning, guys. It's stunning. All right, guys, next is these little palettes that are new from Colourpop, and they're just these little 4 quads that they've recently come out with. This is their newer one. It's their pressed powdered palette, and this is in Feel Away, and purples and lavenders look really good with green eyes, so I thought this would be a great little palette to grab just because of, you know, my eye color, and purples really make your eyes pop. I love the component. I think it's really cute. It's got like a magnet, so it kind of snaps shut and it stays shut, which is actually really nice. It's got these cute little, you know, silver reflective eyes on the front of it, and I thought overall that it was a cute design, but I don't know, guys, I just was not impressed by these pressed powders. And for the price, I mean, you can't really complain, but I mean, you know, I don't know. I just feel like Colourpop has got to start stepping it up with their pressed powders. There are so many incredible formulas out there that mediocre palettes nowadays, they just don't impress me anymore. And for me, it's just a waste of time and a waste of money when there are so many good formulas out there that you don't have to pay a lot of money for that give you such a better blend and such a better color payoff. And I feel like this is just one of those mediocre type pressed powder formulas out there right now that I'm just like, eh. Overall, this one is just going to be a pass for me. And last but not least, since I just dumped all over BH Cosmetics because of the lack of quality when it comes to their brushes, let's talk about this bad boy. This is the Zodiac palette by BH Cosmetics. Now, this palette has been talked about and talked about and talked about. And I'll be honest with you, when I first looked at this palette, I was like, this palette is going to be awful. Number one, because I am not a fan of baked shadows. Anything that has like this dome shape in it, for me, tends to always be dry and chalky. I don't like baked shadows. I've never liked baked shadows. I think it's an awful formula. So for me, instantaneously, I was like, this is going to be a pass. This is just going to be a pass. What I couldn't get over was how many people were saying that it's absolutely amazing. And I'm like, how could it be so stunning and at the price point that they've kept it at? Let me tell you guys, I could probably do an entire video on this palette alone. This palette is genuinely stunning. And I'll tell you why. These baked shadows are very different from any other baked shadow formula that I have ever laid my hands on before. This highlighter, I mean, it's nice. It's not anything that, you know, I would like run home and just be like, oh my God, it's amazing, it's amazing. It's nice, this big highlighter that's here in the middle, but the superstars of this palette really are the baked shadows that are in the perimeter here and the mattes. The mattes are absolutely stunning, and I'm going to show you guys some swatches here. So first of all, guys, I got this 25 color eyeshadow palette and highlighter for $17.50. So let's just take a moment to appreciate that, like in and of itself, because hello Colourpop, yeah, you guys need to step up the game. That's what I mean when I say even though it's inexpensive, it doesn't mean it has to be mediocre. You can do inexpensive and do it flawlessly. BH Cosmetics displays that phenomenally with this product. Not only do the baked shimmers in this palette have these beautiful iridescent sheens and shifts to the colors, but they are stunning when it comes to performance on the eye. They can be used wet, they can be used dry, and they are long lasting. You put a primer on your lid and you are good to go with these colors. Not only that, but a little Duraline with a lot of these shimmers in here, and you can end up with a stunning liquid eyeliner, and I'll tell you guys about that in just a second. Not only are the shimmers in this 25 color palette stunning, but the mattes in this palette are nothing to sneeze at either. These mattes are formulated well. They stand up to the beautiful shimmers that are in this palette. They don't get lost in this palette. I think it's very cohesive the way the whole thing was laid out, and overall this damn thing was a win, and this was probably the most shocking win of the month for me. BH Cosmetics absolutely blew me away with their Zodiac palette, and again, I was late to the game because I was a doubter on this one, but I will say this much, I did get their festival palette, and that one is on the way, and typically I wouldn't have done that, and the only reason I repurchased an eyeshadow palette from BH Cosmetics was because of this one right here. So I'm hoping this just wasn't a one-off fluke. I'm hoping that this speaks to eyeshadow performance in their palettes going forward, because honestly, I have not been impressed with BH Cosmetics' previous launches that they've had. I have several of their palettes that honestly I ended up regifting and passing on because they didn't blend, there wasn't a payoff, and I just didn't like it. This has absolutely at least changed my mind on this palette. Is stunning. And it's definitely at least given me a little bit of a door open to test out some additional products. So I will let you guys know when the next palette arrives from BH Cosmetics if this is going to be an ongoing theme with them or if this was just a one-off stunning palette fluke. But regardless, this palette stands on its own through and through. It's amazing. It's a great formula, and this is absolutely Erica approved. And just really quickly, something that I touched on while discussing the Zodiac palette is Duraline. And for those of you that aren't familiar with Duraline and what Duraline is, I'm actually going to talk to you guys a little bit more about this in the next favorites video that I do, and including this in the next favorites video that has some other products in it. Like I said, we were going to split this series up into 2 different parts, but I did want to mention it simply because I mentioned it in the description of the palette before. So for those of you that don't know what Duraline is, it's a mixing medium. You can actually use this, you can, you know, put a little bit of that eyeshadow, any of those eyeshadows, the shimmers, the mattes, you can put a little bit of the eyeshadow in a palette or on a pan, put a drop of Duraline on it, mix it together, and all of a sudden you have a waterproof eyeliner that won't budge, smudge, or move. There are about 7 other different uses with Duraline, and I'll get into those uses in an upcoming video, actually in the next video, part 2 of this series, and I'll get into a little bit more detail with you guys. But Duraline is made by Inglot, so that's what I was talking about when I said if you add some Duraline to a couple of these shadows, they would make stunning eyeliners. And this little beauty is not just good for making stunning eyeliners. There are about 7 other things you can do with this that make this one of the best used, most used beauty tools, and is an absolute must for any makeup artist kit. So, Duraline, stay tuned. We'll go over this in more detail in part 2 of this series. Alright guys, and then last but not least, these actually aren't palettes. Well, they're kind of palettes. They're like bronzy contour mini palettes, I guess. They're the new, they call them Brontours from Morphe, right? So they're the new Brontour collection that came out from Morphe. I got the Celebutante and the Glitterati. You guys, these are a pass. I was not a fan of these at all. So you have one side that's a matte and you have one side that is like a highlight or a shimmer. And I thought, oh, well, that will be nice to have kind of a contouring matte flat powder and, you know, that kind of bronzy, nice shimmer all in the same little palette. And I thought that would be a great idea. Unfortunately for me, the formula just fell flat. Now it is soft and it is nice and, you know, luxe feeling when you initially swatch it. However, for me, the tones in this really missed the mark. So you're supposed to have a perfect radiant bronzer and a matte contour shade pressed together into one quote-unquote sun-kissed duo for a soft, seriously seamless finish, according to Morphe. However, I feel like the contour shades really miss the mark when it comes to tone. And I feel like mixed together, it just makes for this very orangey kind of convoluted mess. These are $12 a piece, and these are a skip for me, guys. There are so many other contour slash bronzers out there for that price range or cheaper that perform better, and I think these were just a miss. I don't think it was a very well thought out product, and for me, the tones missed the mark completely, and together it just creates kind of a yucky look on the face, and I wasn't impressed with these at all. So the Brontour by Morphe, this is a pass for me. Alright, now I want to end on a high note, so I'm just going to go over the Cozzette eyeshadows that I talked about earlier. The brush from Cozzette that I told you guys that I really liked, and I put their information down at the bottom. They actually have eyeshadow formulas, and you guys, these are some of the most amazing eyeshadow formulas that I have ever worked with, and I'm in the process of purchasing additional pans. I only ordered 2 pans this time because I wanted to test the formula and really see what the formula was about. And these are the 2 pans that I ordered. I just have them in my own Z palette that I have here. And it's these 2 pans right here. And I'll show you guys what they look like up close and swatched. And I actually have them on my eye tonight. And you guys, these are eyeshadows when I say that, you know, this is an eyeshadow that blends itself and really needs little to no effort. If you're looking for that kind of a quality eyeshadow from any eyeshadow company and you just want something to maybe put in a Z palette or create your own palette with, then Cozzette would be the way to go. You guys, these eyeshadows are some of the best formulations out there in the industry right now, and I can't say that enough. I was so impressed by these eyeshadow formulas that I immediately logged on. I applied for the Pro membership discount, got the Pro membership discount, and immediately ordered like 5-6 more different shades because I was so blown away by these. And I've heard makeup artists out there throw that word Cozzette around, and oh, it's a Cozzette eyeshadow, or I have on a Cozzette eyeshadow. And you know, I've always kind of heard it in the makeup artist circle, but I never really tried it. And I thought, you know what, let me try a brush, let me try a couple eyeshadows, and instantly I saw what everyone was talking about. It's a very high quality brand. I can't speak to anything but the brushes and the eyeshadows, but those two things are stunning and absolutely worth me mentioning to you guys, because I really think it would be worth it for you guys to go to the website and check out their formula. It literally is amazing. If you are trying to build like your own little Z palette, I would absolutely recommend that you do that with a Cozzette formula. They're stunning. And when I get the new ones that I've ordered, I'll absolutely get on here and go over them with you guys. I can't wait for them to get here. I'm so impressed with this brand that I cannot wait to get the other eyeshadows in, but I couldn't wait to tell you guys about them because they are stunning. Alright guys, so that wraps up the hits and misses for me when it comes to brushes and palettes over the course of the last 30 days. I will do part 2 of this video in a couple of days, and it's going to go over a lot of other products, including the Duraline, some new concealer product. I have a new like highlighter kind of product that I want to talk to you guys about. I have a lot of different products I want to talk to you guys about that just didn't fall into the palette and brushes category. So we will go over those products in the next video. So look for that one to upload. Oh, and I wanted to give you guys an update on our winner. So you remember in the last giveaway that we had our winner. She had the opportunity to get a personally curated, Erica approved mystery bag, and I just wanted to go over with you guys some of the products that she was able to get. So I had a little consult with her via Instagram, and I talked to her about her skin tone and skincare needs and what she had in her collection, what she was missing in her collection, some things that she needed, and I was able to really customize a nice little care package for her, and I really enjoyed doing that. So she got some NARS Sheer Glow Foundation, which I think will fit with her skin type very, very well, and I can't wait to see how everything works for her. I also got her the Morphe I Slay eye brush kit bundle because I personally, that's one of my favorite eye brush bundles out there. I did a video on that in the past about how shocked I was with the Morphe I Slay eyeshadow brush bundle because it was really a good bundle, and I actually really liked all the brushes that were in that bundle. I also sent her some Catrice products that I've actually fallen in love with here recently, including the HD Catrice Liquid Foundation and their new Camouflage Concealer. Tati talked about that Camouflage Concealer and said she really liked it, and I was a little shocked because of how cheap it was, but I went and tried it, and I was like, wow, this really works. Unfortunately, the colors are very, very light for me, so I really can't wear it as much as I would like to, but our winner was very fair skinned, so it was my pleasure to send that little beauty over to her. We also were able to send her over a lot of Derma E skincare. She likes that brand, was familiar with that brand, so we supplemented her collection with the Derma E skincare products. She also got the Bare Minerals Gen Nude Liquid Lipstick Formula, which is one of my favorite lipstick formulas out there right now. I actually have it on my lips tonight, and I still love that formula. She was able to get some NYX, the Worth the Hype mascara, contour palette. I also got one of my favorite bronzers from Essence right now that's like a luminous and a matte bronzer all mixed in one palette. There was so many goodies in there. I was so excited to send that customized bundle to her, and I know that you guys kind of heard we had a winner and then it just kind of went away, and I wanted to just update you guys on that. She has received all of her products and is enjoying them, and it was a blast to do for her. So keep that in mind that I'm doing a follow-up with you guys now because my 100th video upload is coming up soon and we're going to celebrate. So stay tuned to see exactly how we're going to do that. Alright guys, other than that, I hope you had a great time hanging out with me today. And as always, if you are new here, please don't hesitate to hit the subscriber button. If you're not new here and you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Or if you are new here and you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the notification bell on your way out. And as always, I hope everybody is happy and healthy. And I will see you guys in the next video. Mwah.